Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show right here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Bob, how's it going?
It's going well.
Going well. Your Pirates in first place in the National League.
That's
I mean,
right.
geez.
8-2 start. It won't last, but it's fun right
fun
now.
while it lasts, huh?
Yeah.
All right, and you got your Eclipse sunglasses?
I don't have my sunglasses.
We'll get a partial of it down here. We won't get the full effect like the from
But
Texas up to the mid part of the country.
They warn not to look at it. Though,
No, don't look at it. No.
Make
They
sure
don't
you
do
have
that. Not just regular sunglasses. You got to have the special ones. So be careful. Very, very careful.
First time.
I'm not exactly sure how much it's going to block out down here in southeast Georgia because it's all the way up to the Midwest where it's got a total blackout. But millions of people in America are on the road and have been on the road to get in those perfect spots from Texas all the way up to Maine to see that. I mean, you do all that traveling, all that expense for 3.5 minutes worth of total eclipse, and you're not even sure if you're going to see it because it could be cloudy.
I was watching the clip last night on one where they're talking about how it affect your animals. Your animals will be.
Yeah, they'll freak out.
They'll freak out. That's what they said. They said they'll have a more effect on animals than it will on humans. That they'll be like, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
I don't know.
All right. Well, we've got a guest in this morning. Bob, go ahead and introduce and get started.
We've got Wayne County's head baseball coach and athletic director, Justin McDonald, in studios with us. First, I want to talk about the baseball team, and then he's got some other events coming up. But again, it's been a fun ride, Coach. 21-3 thus far. An exciting game Friday night, 4-3 over the Islands. But sitting on top of this region, but the next two series are the two toughest series because Benedictine's sitting there with 2 losses, Southeast Blue sitting there with 3 losses, and I understand that BC schedule's already been changed. It's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's been one of those years where the weather's always been a factor, and I guess last week was probably one of the few weeks that we were able to play a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday series. So, again, that's the I guess the creativity behind the 3-game set. So on Sunday and Monday that you can kind of make it where you're getting all 3 in and don't have to worry about weather or factor. The only unfortunate thing is when you start moving these games, everybody's doing. I know our JV gold team, they're playing Vidalia this week. They'll play today at 5:30 here in Jesup, but then on Wednesday they're supposed to go to Vidalia, and then you got Vidalia and Toons playing a region game, so they're going to move theirs from Thursday to Friday, which some of the smaller classification schools, they don't like to play a JV and a varsity game on the same day, so that's going to knock that game out, and, we only have a week to try to reschedule it. So that's the unfortunate part of those guys getting games. But, again, we can only control what we can control. And, again, it's been a great start. I don't think in my tenure we've had a start like this. And, I'll say it's a credit to the kids and the assistant coaches that come up with those plans of preparation and how our guys and sticking to it. Sometimes when you go through losses, you start kind of questioning, do we need to change something? It's been consistent of what we've done since the first day of practice. And, again, I'm just proud of them.
21-3 is a heck of a start. But BC comes rolling in tomorrow night. How good is this BC team?
They got a lot of guys back. You're going to see the guy that throws on there. I think he threw game 1 over there last year, and he come in and was trying to close out game 2 or game 3 over at their place on that Saturday. So you'll see him. They got the shortstop committed to North Carolina. So again, it is what it is. I think the way we're looking at it, obviously we want to go 6-0 through the rest of these games. But at the end of the day, you win 4 of the 6, you're the region champion. So obviously there's going to be adversity happen in some of these games. But again, I like our chances. People ask me, well, how many is that in a row? And I've kind of lost count. We're kind of going to 2.
I can tell you, 15.
Well, we just try to go game to game and, worry about tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And, after that one, go to the next one. But, I know that sounds kind of bland, but, kind of a coach's talk. But, it is, you never feel like, even when we went down 2-0 against Islands on Friday, there was no panic whatsoever, and they scored both of those runs on one ball put in play, and they really didn't earn a run in that game. So you look at what our defense and our pitching staff is doing, and if we could continue to take pride in moving runners and having quality at bats, and I think this team can go a long way. And the 2 out hits, I know on Tuesday with Islands, at some point over there, I thought they would eventually, if I was in a dugout and they got 4 or 5 2-out hits back to back to back to back to back, you say, man, there's really nothing you can do. But give our guys credit for competing at the plate and just overall great team wins last week.
Well, the story this season has been the pitching. The pitching's been lights out. And you talk about a 3-game series. We're definitely geared for that because most teams don't have but 1 or 2 pitchers. But this Wayne County baseball team this year, I mean, there's a host of pitchers to choose from, and they're all pitching well. From the Tate Altman performance Friday night,
yeah.
I mean, Cade Lynn, Eli Grantham, Gavin Mick. I mean, the pitching's been amazing. I mean, you got a lot of arms to choose from.
We do, and we got to. I know today there's going to be some that get some work on the mound at practice today. We were practicing at 3:00, so we'll be practicing right in the middle of the eclipse. So I guess our guys will get to take that in. But again, coming in, we knew we had depth on the mound, and as I said early in the year, the focal point was, last year we walked or hit over 200 guys throughout the season, and you're not going to win a lot of games doing that. You're going to put yourself in situations where you got to battle out of it, and somehow we found our way into a game 3 in the quarterfinals with that. But this year it's been totally different. I don't have the exact numbers, but it's not even close. The strikeouts are, I know the strikeouts are elevated. I want to say it's almost. There's 2 strikeouts per walk, so which is very good. So our kids are bought into just throwing strikes and playing defense. And I'll talk our defense. I believe we have one of the best left fielders in the state of Georgia. Some of the plays he makes, Garrison Grantham out there and Palmer Lamb, and the guys in the outfield. I know there was some. We got a little issue going on right now with Twilight, and I think something about our kids. Last night at 7:45, Coach Brock. These guys wanted to come out and take fly balls at that same time when the sun's setting and it gets over that kind of that twilight look and it's hard to pick up balls. All those outfielders showed up on their own. They reached out to a coach to do it, and they showed up last night and took fly ball at that certain time. So it's pretty much we got it down to almost down to the minute of when it's going to happen. So hopefully we're on offense next time when it happens, but maybe we'll stall or something to try to get where we're not out there. It's about 5 minutes where it gets real tough. So again, that's the difference in some programs and kids and this program and our kids. They something that small as catching a fly ball means so much to those guys, and they understand that can get magnified later in the season and into postseason play, and they want to go ahead and get that right now. And kudos to them and Coach Brock for doing that, and all our coaches. These guys reach out and get help, but again, the pitching staff is you get good starting pitching, you got a chance to win, and there's a lot of guys that threw a lot of innings last year in the postseason that aren't throwing a lot of innings, but they're going to have to throw innings. Like the Carson Shaver and the Palmer Lamb and Jeb Craven. They're Grayson Spell, Isaiah Lee. You got guys that are sitting there just waiting to get in there, and we don't hesitate at all to put them in there, and that's the good thing that we have. And I don't think there's any team in the classification with us that has the depth we have on the mound. So hopefully we can continue to have good starting pitching.
It's been a great season thus far, but there has been some adversity. Again, we lost Logan Scarborough to an injury. He hasn't been able to perform this year. We lost Josh Campbell before the season ever began with season-ending surgery. Yeah. And now Tyler Wallen just had his appendix taken out. So how long are you going to be out with Tyler?
Not real sure. Probably 2 to 3 weeks. I've spoke with him over the weekend. He's one, if you put a timeline on it, he's going to try to go before the timeline. So, again, the thing for him, he's got to really take pride in what he has to do right now to make sure he's ready to come back at a high level. So, again, with the depth we have, Rowan's going to end up going behind the plate, and then we got Gunnar Campbell and Zach Ellis that can fill in behind when needed. And, the great thing is we've already got that out of the way where Gunnar can go or Zach can go catch Rowan, because Rowan's a huge part of what we do on the mound as well. So, again, adversity always hits, every year, and this one kind of, I wouldn't even imagine having those two with what we have now. We're talking about Logan and Josh, but again, those guys have bright futures ahead in the game of baseball, and there's no sense in us trying to rush them back and get them in here for us. And that may sound like I'm not so concerned with them pitching. I'd rather see them pitch in college and beyond than worry about pitching here in Wayne County. And that may people may not understand that, but our goals are to keep them healthy and give them opportunity to play as long as they want. And we've had those conversations with those guys, and both those guys are going to come back stronger and better than they were previously. So again, it's just part of the process, and both of those guys will be in the dugout along with Tyler. Tyler told me he'll be in there, and you call it, they can put on their coaching hat and help us win games any way they can. But again, give our kids credit for overcoming it and not being a factor in how we play. And as things like that happen, the game's still gonna happen. So you just got to find a way to overcome it, and our guys have done that so far.
And just joining us in the studio with us is head baseball coach Justin McDonald and athletic director Justin McDonald. You got a couple events coming up. I know you want to talk about the athletic department has their big fundraising golf tournament coming up on the 20th of April. Tee time is 8:15, 4-person teams. It's filling up. I was at the country club this past weekend, so looked at the sheet, and it's still got some open spots.
Okay.
So anybody that wants to sign up, tell us about that.
Yeah, it's April the 20th. Fundraising within the athletic department is huge. I think I've spoke at some Rotary clubs and other organizations exchange, and you kind of talk about how an athletic budget is built as far as like the revenue part. The revenue part is all ticket sales, and when people buy tickets, that's what creates the budget for athletics. And if people don't buy tickets, there's no budget. So between ticket sales and fundraising, that's the revenue into our athletic department. And this is one of the big fundraisers we do. I think we started this. I was just a baseball coach when this started, so it's been probably 4 or 5 years ago. This may be the 4th or 5th time we've done it, but it's always a great fundraiser. And again, it's about all athletics. It's not just about one team. It's about every sport that we have, all the way down to the smallest one or the one that has the least amount of participation. So it's about giving money to help them reach their full potential and get the things they need. But if you're still interested in participating, you can call the Pro Shop. The number is 427-6505. So reach out to them and get your team signed up. Or if you want to do a whole sponsor, whole sponsors are $100. You'll have a sign placed on a tee box. You can get in contact with me. My email is jmcdonald@wayne.k12.ga.us, and we'll get that sign made. We probably need to know this week if you're interested in a whole sponsor. Most of our coaches staff has reached out to the people that have sponsored in the years past. But if nobody's reached out to you, you can reach out to me, and we'll get it set up for you so you can have a sponsor out there. And again, it's about this money goes directly to the kids and things that are going to benefit these kids. And again, our number one goal is to give them the best 4 years of athletics at Wayne County High School and 3 years in the middle school. And obviously a financial commitment is necessary to make that happen. So this is a huge fundraiser that can help supply some of that for those kids.
And a second event you got coming up, the annual summer instructional camp for kids ages 5 and up, June 17th to the 20th. This is always a popular event.
Yeah.
A lot of kids. It's amazing how many kids are involved in the recreation program right now.
Correct.
We had Spec in here last week, and the numbers are amazing. Recreation night went extremely well.
Yeah.
Friday night, that was a nice night. But talk about your instructional camp that you do each and every year.
Yeah, we do. Being here now, 15, 16 years, you see these kids come through those camps, and, before you know it, they're putting on a high school uniform or getting in one of those lockers in our locker room. And, I think that's important that not only me, but, those kids, for instance, Friday night, those kids that want to see Coach McDonald, they want to see the players, and they want to be around the players that play the game. I know my son, played a recreation game, and the only thing he said the first game was, I sure like it when the high school players come watch me play. And, not so much about me being there or his mom being there. It's about those high school kids being there to watch him play. And, sometimes I don't think our kids in our locker room understand the impact they have on these kids. And it's an opportunity this summer for our guys to be around the future Yellow Jackets. And, before you know it, those guys will be in the high school playing. And, again, it's kind of, to start teaching them how the Wayne County way and how we do stuff. And, I think it's very important that our high school programs and all sports be involved in the recreation department and understand what's going and have your hand on it. And, again, the numbers are up in baseball this year, and, that can be, you can point several different reasons of why that may be, but, ultimately I hope it's because their success at all levels in the school system here in baseball, and kids want to be a part of it. So, again, we're looking forward to it. It's always a long week, but it's worth every minute that you're out there from 9 to 12, and being around those kids. And I want them to make it difficult for us to organize it. There's so many kids there. I know after 17 we had 100 there, and it's averaged anywhere around 60 or 70. So, I want to have 80 plus there this year, and again, it's to teach them fundamentals. It's not babysitting. They're active. They're moving around for 3 hours, and again, teaching them the game of baseball, and most of all, let them have fun do it throughout that week.
It's just a great camp. Like I said, they love the T-shirt at the end, and it's $100, and that includes the T-shirt. Again, 9:30 to 12, Monday, June 17th through Thursday, June 20th, 4-day event for ages 5 and up. Another thing you were involved in is the search for a new head football coach. We got him coming in studio on Wednesday. Looking forward to talking to him. But he's been putting his staff together and gearing up for the spring game. It's already going to be set here for JC Stadium. But tell us about Coach Moore and how that search went, and how excited you are to have him here in Wayne County.
Oh, I'm excited, just being around him the short time I have now. And, again, we have a lot of the same ideas and the same mindsets on stuff. And, I'm looking forward to what he's going to bring. And, obviously having the spring game, I think that's going to be a huge part of going ahead and getting his feet wet and getting things going early. And, he's got some of his staff on campus now, running in the weight room now, and kind of putting his blueprint on it now. And give the previous staff credit. Those kids in that weight room, Coach White was there, and they stayed in the weight room every single day with Coach White while the transition was taking place, and now that transition is taking place, and now Coach Mooring and his staff are going to take it over. And obviously you look at the schedule, and I kind of, the schedule was created. Not a lot of people want to play, Wayne County. I was in that process of trying to schedule. And you reach out to some of these teams, and they're not even entertaining the idea of playing Wayne County. But obviously at some point to have games, you got to play anybody that would play you. And we have a schedule that's tough, but obviously when you have a tough schedule, it's also an opportunity to do something great. And that's the mindset we have in the athletic department. I know his mindset as well. So I'm looking forward to it. Getting through the spring ball and then going into the summer, and next thing you know, it'll be Friday night football. So again, I know he's still kind of putting that staff together, and again, I'm excited about the opportunity and the opportunity of what he's going to do with his staff.
Well, it should be fun. Like I said, looking forward to having him in the studio on Wednesday. But getting back to the Wayne County baseball again, I know it's one game at a time, but the goal is to get that number one spot. What region do we cross over with in the first round of the state playoffs?
So West Lawrence, Perry region. I think there's Spalding and Baldwin. It's kind of, that'd be the first round matchup, and it's easy to kind of look ahead, but I have looked ahead, and that second round matchup with the Stars Mill, LaGrange, and Troup County, and Whitewater, and Trinity Christian. That's probably one of the toughest regions in 4A baseball, and there'll be a team in that region left out of the playoffs, and that'll be the second round matchup. Obviously if you're the one, you get the two. If you're the two, you get the one. And right now Stars Mill is holding their own at the top of our classification. And again, the main thing for me is you want to play all these games here, because Howard Bo Warrenfield on playoff time is something like no other. And I know Coach Cameron and some of the guys that hadn't been here, they're looking forward to seeing what it's really like. There's some videos popped up about this time of things that happened late in the year, and you see the crowds at baseball games. And again, I think it's important, whoever we play, that we need to be able to play them there, and the only way to do that is finish one. So I think that's a huge goal for us to be able to play here. It's never going to be easy. I always look back to 17 when you had to knock off, Jones County, Buford, Carrollton, Locust Grove, and all of them rating in the top 5 or top 10 at that time. So, when you get into postseason play, it's never easy. So again, you got to embrace what you have, and again, I think the big key for us to be able to play all these teams in Jesup and have that home field advantage.
Yeah, I think people don't understand how important that home field advantage is. I've talked to players at other schools and other coaches at other schools, and they'll admit that it's the most intimidating place they've ever been.
Yeah.
But they don't see crowds at other places
Correct.
like they see here at Wayne County. So we're blessed to have that home support, but it is an electric atmosphere, especially when it gets filled up for playoff time.
Correct.
Everybody's there supporting the Yellow Jackets, so it does make a difference to have that home crowd behind the Yellow Jackets in playoff time.
Oh, it does, and I know I know just me personally as the coach, I feed off of it. I know you could tell. I was telling some of the coaches we were kind of waiting for, I guess, getting the field ready before that game on Friday, and you look up and there's already 100+ people at the game. I think I looked when it was 5:35, and I said, well, it'll be a big crowd tonight when they hear, and that early. So, again, obviously recreation night helped that as well. But, again, our kids feed off of it. I know they won't tell you because they don't want me to hear them say they're worried about what's going on outside the fences. But, they take notice of who's there and how many people are there. And, it's funny, I've reached out to some coaches just to kind of see how they thought their region was going to shake out. Just kind of got to get an idea. And, I always get the response back, well, we're just jockeying not to have to come down there. So we're just trying to figure out how we can make it where we don't have to come to Jesup. And, that's a tribute to the people in this community that have made this place what it is and made that atmosphere what it is. And, I think that is, again, people, I don't know of another place that it's like that. And, we're fortunate to be here and be in a place where they love athletics and, love baseball in the springtime. And, I want to challenge them not to wait till playoffs come out Tuesday. That place needs to be booming on Tuesday against Benedictine. And, obviously you win game 1 in that series, and then it kind of sets that tone going forward. But, last year we went 0-2 in the first 2 and had to win game 3 to have a chance to win the region. So, again, we need to come out tomorrow and have a good start against Benedictine with a huge crowd.
Yeah, hopefully a big crowd shows up. I'm sure BC will bring a big contingency of folks. They always do. So, big series coming up again. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, not
Correct.
Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So Wednesday we'll head over there and play
Wednesday's
their
at
ballpark.
5:30.
5:30 start over there on Wednesday, and then back here on Friday at 6 o'clock. So,
Correct.
again, Coach, it's been a fun ride. Like I said, one game at a time, 15-game winning streak. You don't see that very often. Don't see it 21-3. We mentioned the school record for wins is 29.
Correct.
We've been there several times, never got to the 30. But this team, if they have a nice playoff run, they've got a chance to set baseball history.
Yeah, they do, and they know what that record is. We don't talk about it, but they know. I've heard them talk about it just in passing, but that's the thing. This is a group that's they're humble. They understand what we're trying to do, and I've said it from day one when our coaching staff, we looked at what we've done over just not just the last 3 years, but throughout the time of we used the term making a playoff run, and I don't want to sound selfish or anything, but I don't think making a playoff run is good enough anymore. Going to the quarterfinals 3 years in a row and losing 2 of those in game 3s, we got to do something to get over the hump. And I think we've done some things different and not nothing about the values and the core values of the culture of our program. All that stuff still, sprinting on and off the field and acting right in school, all that stuff's still the same. It's just the way we go about stuff at practice. I'll say it, the weight room, J.J. White with his strength program over the last year and a half, that's been, it's incredible of how much stronger, how much weight these guys have gained over that period of time, and that's transitioned into improved performance as well. But just the way we've attacked everything, the way we we'll do something as small as how we get on the bus, we do it different than we done it last year. So just the mindset that it's not the same. And when I say it's not the same, those kids that broke it down every single day on state champs, and when they do it, it's a belief that it is going to happen. It's a visualization that it's going to happen, and it's not just reaching in there and putting their hands together and saying something. I think they truly believe it, and I know our coaching staff believe it. And I've told them day after day that I will not let them mess it up. I told them that Friday going into spring break, we're going to put a schedule together that would allow you to be able to do some things that you want to do during spring break, but also understand that this week you got God, family, and baseball. There's no school in between there. So it's those 3 things, and everything else comes after that. So, again, we're going to do our job as coaching staff to make sure they're prepared. And, again, we have prom coming up later on. There's kind of a weekend in between the first and second round of playoffs. So, again, they have to make decisions of whether it's going to be baseball or social life, and we're going to stay on those guys about that. So, but I told them I will not let them mess it up. This is an opportunity for them to do something that hadn't been done here but one time. So again, I think in 2017 it gave people the belief that this program can get back to a state title, but we got to finish one. And I think it's I don't think you necessarily, you have to talk about it to believe you can do it. There's no sense in sitting back and saying, well, I hope we do it. I hope I get a lot of stuff in life, but what am I doing to get that? And, that's what we're going to do today at 3 o'clock. We practice. We're going to take one more step trying to get that ultimate goal that everybody wants.
Yeah, like I said, we played for it in 2017, but the last one we won was back in 1967. It's
Correct.
been a long time since then. So, Coach, again, appreciate you coming in. Like I said, it's been a fun ride. So it's hard to believe that we're already 24 games in the season.
Correct.
It seems like we went to Atlanta
Yeah.
just yesterday. But and I think that really set the tone for this team to go up there and shut out Loganville and win the other game against the team from Florida.
Yeah.
Should have really won the last game against Hill Road.
Correct.
And that's the last game we lost, and we let that game slip away. We had that 3-1 lead, and they came back and beat us. But again, like I said, one game at a time. Tuesday's the next game, so hopefully a big crowd at Howard Bow Warren. We'll look forward to it. And again, congrats to you and your team for a successful season thus far, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of the way.
Well, I appreciate it. And speaking of that Atlanta, we look at Max Prep stuff a lot, the rankings on Max Prep, and if you'll see that, our strength of schedule, people like Jeff Davis and I don't know when the last time Jeff Davis has lost a game here. They got a huge winning streak going too, but you look at that strength of schedule, it is continuously going up just because of sometimes it takes time. Like during our New Hampstead week, our strength of schedule went down just because you have to play teams in your region. But when it's all said and done, it'll be one of the toughest schedules in 4A. And again, as I said before, when we put that together, I would think on paper when you look at it, and there may be some programs that are down just a touch, but those same programs that you think are down will be the ones you see. You'll see Loganville in the semifinals. You'll see Jeff Davis in the semifinals. They'll be there somehow just because of what their program's about. But if you look down on paper, it's probably the toughest one that we put together, and our kids responded to it. And let's be honest, we've really only been outmatched one time this year, and that was against Thomas County Central, where we just didn't play good at all. And the Appling game, we had a chance late in the game, and had some miscues on a bunt there where they had a sac fly to score, and then Hillgrove giving up those runs and in the game. But again, I don't think we've actually been outmatched maybe one time, and that was just that day. I don't think if you play Thomas County Central any other day, we play like that again. But again, I'm excited about where we're at, but also the work's not done, and you don't want to do all this and have an early exit out of postseason. So we got to continue to get tougher mentally, because you got to be mentally tough going into the playoffs and be able to handle some adversity when there are 300, 400, 500 people in the stands. So again, I'm looking forward to it, and I encourage the community to get around these guys and come see them play right now. Don't wait. Come this week and help us get across that finish line for a region championship.
Okay, Coach, appreciate it very much.
All right, thank you.
All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, brought to you by First Southern Bank, Van's Barbecue, Murphy Builder Supply, and O'Quinn & Associates.